think I need more room on the couch.
I
We
know.
could share.
Should we lay down?
Yes. Let's. How's everyone doing?
The sun came out for fan
Yes.
engagement.
Yeah. My name is Beth Sidhu. I'm Stagwell's Chief Brand and Communications Officer, and I am thrilled to be joined by Marissa, one of our best partners from Adobe. So introduce yourself to the crowd. Tell us about your role and what you do.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Marissa Dacay. I'm a VP of Global Enterprise Marketing at Adobe, and excited to be here to talk about this topic specifically because within my organization, we also run all of our sports marketing partnerships.
Well, that is a wonderful segue, as if we'd planned it. Why does Adobe care about sports?
Well, I think, it's the perfect way to showcase what real fan engagement looks like, or just even what customer engagement looks like. And it's this intersection of humanity, community, and fandom with creativity. So I think it's a really perfect place for us to play in as we're bringing creativity, data, fans, customers, all of that together. And I think probably even more importantly is most of you, and this is still a thing that we face with, is Adobe is still predominantly known for PDF and Photoshop. But really we have such a bigger mission than that, to just impact digital experiences and help, whether that's helping creatives express themselves, tell their stories, bring their imagination to life, or whether that's helping marketers create really amazing customer experiences. So I think sports is a perfect way for us to do that.
Well, we do a lot of sport at Stagwell, and we always talk about sports really being about fans, and every brand in the world wants fans. Fandom as the future of marketing in lots of ways. I'm assuming we have lots of fans of PDFs joining us today. Let's have a little crowd participation. Anybody a baseball fan? Woo-woo. No, you guys hate this. Okay. All right, moving right along.
Lots of sports fans. I get it.
Yes, sports fans. NFL.
All right.
All right, horseback riding.
Dressage specifically.
Dressage, yes. Well, actually, Marissa, you were quite a serious gymnast growing up. Is that right? Do we have any gymnasts?
1 in a million. Yeah, I was training to be an elite gymnast for most of my life before college. So
wow. What was your favorite skill? Bars, beam?
I was a beam and floor person.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like beam and floor don't usually go together. Usually it's like bar and beam.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I was a late starter, so I like anything that was more dance related because of my dance background was more my forte. But I was just having a conversation with like sports in general. If you're an athlete on a team, it's just such an incredible, it shapes me as an adult even still today. So.
All right, well, we're going to come back to how it shaped you as an adult, but let's talk about how sports are shaping marketing, and particularly in the era of AI. So, buzzword alert, personalization. How does Adobe work with sports teams to help them personalize what they're doing for fans?
Yeah, so maybe just a little context. Adobe, 85 of the Fortune 100 currently work with Adobe. And very similar in the sports space, we have really large partnerships with the NFL, with MLB, with the National Women's Soccer League, with Premier League, and just to name a few. But I think when we think about transforming fan experiences, or even what personalized fan experiences mean, fandom has really always been about this emotional connection, right? And this passion, the shared passion and joy that you have about building your community, even if that's through the occasional upset of what's going on with your teams. And it's also a way that people express like identity and have a sense of belonging to brands and teams and players that they really care about. I think with AI, none of that changes. What changes is how those connections are being built, especially as AI becomes more agentic. And in case we're not up to snuff on the Gen AI agentic terms, agentic, when I'm speaking about that, is really about AI that can act, reason, decide, and understand the context and intent in which someone is engaging with you, right? And I think it's at that where you can really create amazing personalized experiences and get a flight path along the way. But really what we're trying to do...
Let's pause for the helicopter. Everyone wave. Wave to the helicopter. It will go by shortly. Perhaps not as shortly as one would have hoped.
We got it.
Okay, AI personalization.
Yes. So I think, what we're trying to help the NFL and Premier League and our other partners do is just making sure that every single moment where they're connecting with their fans is a moment that feels highly personalized, feels highly contextual, because it's possible now to make every single one of those interactions feel really personalized, both through the content that you deliver and the creative that serves your fans. And I think with Adobe and our AI products, we can take everything from like ideation to content creation to the activation of that content across every channel or surface that your fans might be engaging with you, and do it now at a speed and scale that is really unprecedented.
Well, we're going to come back to scale in a minute, but tell us a little more about the NFL and how Adobe works with the NFL.
Yeah, so they're a huge partner of ours. They're a big user of our content supply chain story and all of our data foundations, so our content supply chain offering, meaning they're really on a mission to scale their fan base globally. They're in 21 international markets now, and also to reach new audiences like Gen Z. And how they do that through content is really important, but also how they do that in touching, whether you're a lifelong fan or a Gen Z fan or coming to a game for the very first time, they need to be able to speak to you in your context and with what matters to you, on how you like to engage on your modality, how you want to consume content, whether you're in person for a game, whether you're streaming it, right? And all of that requires so much content. So we're partnering very closely with the NFL to really fuel their content supply chain and all of the content required for them to be able to deliver these what feel like really one-to-one personalized experiences. That's kind of more on the content and creativity side. I think on the data foundation side, for those kind of coming into AI, you can't really realize the full value of AI unless you have unified your data structure. And so we're a big partner with the NFL to also bring all of these millions of interactions that they're having with their fans all over the world on every surface. How do you consolidate all of that into a true unified view of your fan so that you can deliver on these amazing experiences? So through our platforms, we're also helping them do that.
And would that be visible to an NFL fan? I know with like the Premier League, you know you're using an Adobe product some of the time, but we had some cheers for the NFL earlier. Would people know they're using Adobe?
No, I mean, if we're doing our job well, we are the brand behind the brand. And I think that's the case for any of the leagues that we work with, and frankly, any brand, right? Really, you might know just inherently because Photoshop Creative Cloud is so permeated through the creative community. But as far as like the experiences you're having on your mobile app at a game, or even when you purchase your ticket or you visit a website and you're getting served up information about your favorite team, like all of that is fueled by, a lot of that is fueled by Adobe technology. So no, you wouldn't say like, Adobe is loading this piece of content to you on this website. But, we are the brand behind these amazing experiences.
Well, I feel like I learned something today. Did anyone go to the Yankee game last night? All right, one person. Did this person get to experience an Adobe product last night at the Yankee game? Probably.
Probably, yes. Yeah, we do a lot of things when you're in your seat on the mobile app. Big MLB fan. If you did any social posting, a lot of those templates and things we're supplying. I think one of the cool things that we're working with, partners like the Premier League is this example I'll give you because we're here in New York, is at the flagship store, the Puma flagship store here in New York. We actually did this really cool activation with the Premier League where we brought in Adobe technology, specifically our Firefly technology. With anyone who hasn't used it, it's very cool. It's basically, text to image prompting. But we took a Premier League ball and we let folks in the store, use words about how their mood is feeling, what their favorite colors are, things about their personality, and then through that generated like a custom design for their Premier League ball, and then we printed that out on a t-shirt, and that was their takeaway. I think what's important about that experience is it's centering the human with the brands and with the game, right? It's a different way to interact with a league, but again, it's about you.
A very personal.
Yeah.
So let's go to personalization and scale. Give us a sense of how you provide scale without losing that personal touch.
Yeah. Well, I think this is at the heart of our content supply chain offering. I mean, this is really about how, if we're talking specifically with the NFL and MLB, how do you bring the magic of the game out onto every surface or channel that your fans might be experiencing? And these leagues are leveraging our technology to really reimagine the way that they're bringing this experience to fans. And that starts with how, again, they're bringing creativity and data together. And they're using AI to not just create the content, but also streamline their workflows, to help with scaling their project management, and then also orchestrate that content across channels to deliver in a meaningful way. And the scale piece comes from, I think AI is both allowing scale in the sense of how we work, so augmenting the employee to do more faster and more efficiently. But in the case of content creation, you're also able to just experiment more through generative AI capabilities. And if you're using models like ours, like Firefly, it's also commercially safe, brand protected, trained off of all your own assets so that you can maintain the NFL experience from a corporate level, but still allow for localized personalization, right, based on city or location or stadium or whatever. And that, being able to control brand at the center, especially for these leagues where that matters so much, is key.
How do you do that? I know you guys work a lot with the NFL, but with lots of leagues on how they create communities, how they build their fan bases into, not individual, group pockets. I don't know if that's how we'll say that. How do you use AI to help these sports leagues create community?
Yeah, I think it's not really just only AI. I think AI is the way that we're able to deliver these amazing personalized content and experiences, but I think it's on the data. So it all starts again with this unified understanding of your fan based on their preferences, again, how they like to engage, where are they. I'll give an example of someone on my team who's sitting out here who's a Giants fan, but is often in San Francisco. And if we think about Alex as a fan of the Giants, but in San Francisco, needs to have a different experience when he's in San Francisco about how to stream the game versus someone who's in New York who might be attending a game in person, right? They need to get a know before you go to the game. So I think this is an example, again, of just targeting, but it's in that understanding and context of the fans that you're able then to curate these experiences for them to develop kind of community and extend that across various audiences too.
Now, I know you have a special community where you grew up in Hawaii.
Yes.
We have many Hawaiians here, more Hawaiians than football fans.
We got one. Far way to travel. Yeah, actually my family's from Hawaii, and so when we were prepping for this, they were asking me who's your favorite team? I'm like, I don't have one. But my family, we're diehard, anybody from Hawaii who is playing on any team, that's who we're fans of. So, and my mom is actually the biggest sports fanatic in our household.
Really?
So she'll just be pumping out stats on Mariota and Tua, and I'm or randomly she'll show up and say Titans are my favorite team. I'm like, what? When? We live in San Francisco. What is happening? But it's always wherever there's a Hawaiian quarterback, we're there. So Hawaii takes over everything else.
Well, proving that community runs strong no matter where it starts. So talking about data, you've mentioned a couple of times the importance of a unified data stream. And one of the things that I've always thought was most interesting is how we as consumers have no idea whether or not a company has unified our data until it goes horribly wrong. One of the reasons Uber's great at this is because they started with an individual track for each person. You've got your unique ID. What percentage of the companies Adobe works with have all their data unified when they come to you?
All of them. No, most don't. I mean, what we're hearing a lot when we talk to our customers is right now, I forget if it's a Gartner stat or a Bain one, so my apologies.
Let's go with Gartner. They're
okay,
a partner.
Great.
Gartner it is.
But when we've talked to our customers, this is the thing that prevails, is as teams are adopting AI or any kind of agentic or generative AI capability right now, I think it's something like 80 to 85% of AI projects fail because of data. Data quality, data hygiene, labeled data, data unification. So I would say it's still very much a problem. And if you think about even Adobe, we're not the biggest company, but we're large. We have a lot of siloed data. And if you think about that getting exponentially more complex for leagues like this appearing, in 32 clubs, 21 markets, all different.
And that's the NFL.
The NFL, correct, right. And managing that both at a corporate center, but then locally through the teams. Right? There's a lot of data disparity. So I don't think anyone has it down. I think others are further ahead. But I think what's different now in this agentic era is the data unification and readiness matters a lot more. You could kind of work your way around it before, but I think it's putting a lot of, in order to really activate agentic capabilities, you have to have a structured, labeled data foundation to be able to work off of.
Well, continuing to pick on the NFL, is there a data project or a data started with data project that you've seen them execute particularly well?
Well, I think they're in it right now. I mean, we were just talking to, I'm going to forget his first name. I only remember his last name, Rabinowitz. But he runs all of the marketing technology.
It could be Joe Schmo.
He runs all the marketing tech for the NFL, and they've been on this journey to make sure, he always talks about, like, the fans don't care about data silos. They just want to know that you understand who their favorite team is, what players they're rooting for, where they are, again, what's their context, and how do you make that feel really seamless. So their project is really to stitch all of those data silos together, both at the corporate level and the local team level, to make sure that to a fan it feels frictionless.
How do you see in the NFL or really anywhere leagues or teams who are using data to anticipate what fans will want next? Not just what you want when you go to the game, but what happens after, how you're going to engage.
Yeah. Well, again, I think it's this, uniting these millions of data points that you have to then, with creative tools or content tools, to be able to deliver the things that fans want, right? And I think doing that at scale, not just globally, but again, if you think about how many times a fan might be interacting with your brand, how do you fuel every single one of those interactions with unique content? And I think more than any other industry, like sports, fandom is everything. Engagement is everything. And we know that when we're showing them that we know what they care about, we see that engagement skyrockets. And I think, how do you achieve that context and deliver that personalization is extremely important.
So do you think your mother knows that people are feeding her Hawaii-focused information?
She has her own segment. Yeah,
she
we
does.
made sure of it.
Hawaiian football fans who now live in the Bay Area.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's probably
it is a community, though.
Yes,
it
I was
really
going to say, that's not party of one. That's definitely party.
I mean, and my one Hawaiian fan back there knows this, but even like the guy who won, and I'm terrible with memorizing names, guys, I apologize, but the American Idol, I feel like the entire state of Hawaii voted him in. I know my family from Hawaii was literally calling me, you vote for that guy. I'm like, all right, so.
Well, you've taken us out of sport to music in that answer, so we will continue. What do you think other industries can learn about how sports is embracing AI and sort of bring it to music, to, let's go less sexy, financial services? What are some of the universal lessons sports and AI can teach?
Yeah, I don't think it's, this NFL, MLB, Premier League playbook, it's not unique to sports. At the end of the day, it's about the unification of data and understanding your customer, your fans, whoever your consumer is, and then being able to really ensure that you're creating the experiences that matter to them. And that is whether, you're at a bank and you're doing everything through your mobile app, understanding if you're, just a checking account customer or you're, looking for your first mortgage. All of this is understanding the context in which you operate. And I think one of the really interesting things now that we talk a lot about on my team is it's not just about personalization anymore. Personalization is being pushed to a new level of you have to understand my context. You have to understand where am I? What am I looking at? Where was the last place I was? What was I researching? What matters to me emotionally right now? There's so much data out there, and it's our job to kind of leverage all of that to make sure that we're putting the most relevant, meaningful content in front of that person, whether they're a fan, a bank, or a customer of your bank, or a shopper in your store. And I think just it matters more now, especially to differentiate the agentic experience that they're going to have interacting with agents or through LLMs, large language models. Sorry, I don't mean to be acronym soup, or in person in real human-to-human experiences.
So just to summarize what a brand has to do, unify all of its data, provide perfectly personalized and authentic, we're going to come back to that, authentic experiences, and they have to understand the context with which their consumer is walking in.
Yeah, no big deal. Just
Perfect.
A little bit of that.
And this is why Adobe is a partner to so many, because that actually sounds like a very tall order.
Yeah, I mean, we know, I don't know if there are marketers in the crowd.
Many marketers
All
here.
right, good. I mean, we know that it takes hundreds and thousands of assets, like for a single campaign sometimes, if you're scaling that across markets, countries, languages, audiences, again, channels, right? And how do you do that at scale in different languages? And how do you also put that power back in the hands of the marketer so you're not having to ship every variation or experiment that you want to do out back to your studio teams and your creative teams, right? You can be a lot more agile. And I think all of our technology is really built to be able to scale and also give a lot of power back to the marketers and how they want to experiment.
All right, I'm going to go off script briefly because we have so many marketers. You lead quite a large team of marketers. Give our audience a tip or two how you manage, how you organize your team.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have a very good group at Adobe. I'll say that we just went through a big reorg, basically to get more in line with how we want to adopt AI. We're moving really fast. I have a global organization, so we made the conscious decision to bring together some centralized functions. So we've always been a bit of a hybrid of centralized and decentralized models or teams. But for some of the core functions like content, messaging, campaigns, digital, lifecycle marketing, we brought all of that together under a global organization. And then we kind of standardized and streamlined how the regional teams look and feel so that it's easier for them to work with the COEs. And part of why we did that, it's not a new concept, but why we did it in this moment was we're quickly adopting AI in all senses, whether that's content creation, data, agentic to help you do your work better, assistants that sit inside of the applications that we work with. And if the team is really separated and adopting all those things in their own ways, it's really hard to scale. It's really hard to learn what it is we're getting out of this new technology. And so we brought all these teams together so that we could actually move and adopt faster. The other privilege we have is we are helping to inform marketing technology made for marketers, informed by marketers. I think I have one of the coolest jobs ever. I get to use all of our own tech, but it also means that the product and engineering teams are looking at my marketing organization and saying, does this work for you? And if I have teams all over the world using things differently, it's I don't know what it is that we're really getting out of it. So this was also a conscious decision to help us be better customers of our own technology to work faster and more efficiently with our product teams.
And do you get to tell them when it's not working?
All the time. Every day. I'm their best customer.
Best customer it is. Well, we are going to close with a very important question. We talked about personalization. We've talked about sports. So what is your personal pick for best concession food?
Oh, California girl. Garlic fries all the way.
Garlic
100%.
fries. Do we have any garlic fry fans? Come on.
You don't need to talk to me out. Yay, we don't need to talk. It's just garlic. We should have started with garlic fries.
Well, we did not start there, but we will end there. Marissa, thank you so much for joining us and talking about sports and AI. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank
Garlic
you.
fries to come.
Thanks.
Thank you.